A major announcement: new shirts on sale. SB 357. They come in black and white, and in different shapes and sizes. And we have the shirts with the logo up there, as you can see with the silhouette and the black shirt. And you can get them at the Instagram pages right here. Follow the Instagram page, and don't forget like, comment, and subscribe. And I hope y'all enjoy the video. Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Kevin Sykes, y'all. I'm doing my annual Super Bowl prediction, y'all. And this video is going to be posted on Sunday at 12 o'clock, y'all. And this kind of foreshadowing something that I'm working on in the works of, y'all. So, y'all, be ready for Sundays at 12 o'clock, y'all. I ain't going to tell y'all the name, and I'm not going to tell y'all what's going on. But just be aware, Sundays at 12, it will be going down. But like I was saying, back to the video, y'all, every Super Bowl, y'all always get my Super Bowl prediction, y'all. And on this Sunday, y'all, we are going to be watching Super Bowl 60 between the New England Patriots and the Seattle Seahawks. As we all know, like, this is kind of like a rematch of like some type of redemption, like when they didn't want to give Marshawn Lynch on the goal line. But with all that is being said, y'all, here are some stats that I looked up, y'all. I'm just gonna give like not overall the player stats, but I'm giving the team rankings. The Seattle Seahawks offense is ranked 8th in passing, and they have 213 yards passing in the playoffs. They rank 11th in rushing. They average 36 points this playoffs, and they're third in points per game. Like I said, with points per game, and they got 36 in the playoffs. So that's their offense. Defensively, they rank 6th in total yards. They have allowed 350 yards so far in the playoffs on average, 3 touchdowns. They third. They rank third in passing, rushing, and then they rank first in points. So that's just some facts about stats about the overall Seattle Seahawks. With the Patriots offensively, which I am surprised about, but when you look at who they played this year and stuff, I'll go further than that. But they rank third in yards per game. They're fourth in passing. They only have had 100 average of 147 passing yards so far in the playoffs. They rank second in points per game, and they only average 18 points per game so far in the playoffs. Defensively, they average 8th in yards. They only allow 1 touchdown so far. They're 9th against the pass. They're 6th against the rush. They average, and they're 4th in points per game so far this year. All right, so that's just some stats about both teams. I know I'm kind of reading like a teleprompter, y'all. I ain't gonna lie to you. I got my little notes right here. So like, if you kind of like, yo, is he reading something or he looking at something? Yeah, I am. I'm sure I am, y'all. But with all this being said, y'all, like, those are some stats, some rankings about both teams. To me, like I said, I was surprised to see that the Pats offense or the Patriots offense is throughout the season performed better than the Seattle offense. But when you look at who they played, like, I think I seen something on ESPN. Shout out to ESPN, it's my favorite sports channel. But I think they said they have faced the 4th weakest schedule that's so far in Super Bowl teams in history. So that's just a crazy fact that I didn't know. But yeah, when you look at their schedule, they played a pretty weak schedule. And even so far, even in the playoffs, I won't go into further detail. But yeah, even in the playoffs though, y'all, like, when you look at who they played, I'm not saying that they played all bad teams, but when you look at like the offenses, all the offenses have been kind of mediocre. And I'm just saying that just to say, like, yo, when you look at the Chargers, they didn't have an offensive line because the offensive line been in shambles the whole year. The Texans, they played in bad weather, and also CJ Stroud stunk it up. And that's my favorite player too. Shout out to CJ Stroud, but he stunk it up just because he didn't have his weapons. Like, Schultz got hurt, and like, I think before halftime, and Nico didn't even play. And then we all know what happened with the Broncos. Bo Nix messed his leg up right before he fractured his ankle in the divisional round. But even with the Seahawks though, y'all, like, I just feel like, even though, like, I feel like the offense is better, when you look at the defenses that they played in the playoffs, and the 2 playoff games they played, the defenses they really played weren't really like that stout. When you look at the 49ers, yes, they're known for a stout defense, but in reality, this year, like, they had a lot of injuries on defense, and so they didn't play against a good defense in the divisional round. and then the Rams defense tapered off throughout the season. It wasn't the same Rams defense that started the season. So, with all that being said, there's just some stuff I just think about both teams. But this game, let's talk about this game itself. I think it's going to be a defensive game. I think both defenses are balling out. I think both defenses, like when you look at it, both defenses only allowed only 3 touchdowns for the Seahawks and 1 for the Patriots. I don't think that's not a coincidence. I think both defenses are a top 5 defense overall. I think like they both have. I think they both like if they were playing against a high power offense, I think they would get tested it. But I don't think like these two offenses, no offense, but I don't think they're like the type of team that can type of offenses that can test a great defense. Now, granted, now if they're playing now if the offenses are playing against average defense, like I said, like with the Seahawks, they played against 2 average defenses. I think they could get off, but against these 2 defenses, I don't think that's possible in any way. And so, like, I think this is going to be a defensive struggle, y'all. I think like both teams are going to. It's going to be like field position. It's going to be like who makes the mistake, and I'm not completely confident in my prediction about the quarterbacks, just because I think both quarterbacks at times have had bad mediocre performances. Like I said, Sam Darnold led the league in turnovers, and then when you look at the Patriots so far in the playoffs, they only average 18 points per game. So it's just like, which offense do you really trust in? And so, like me, I'm about to get my prediction, but that was just some stuff I'm just thinking about. But with me, my prediction, I think the Seahawks are going to win. Like I said, I think it's going to be a defensive battle. I think like both teams they're not going to give up a lot. I don't think the defenses are going to perform bad. I think they're going to perform in their best abilities. But do I think the Seahawks have better weapons? That's what I'm relying on. I think like when you look at it on paper, like you got Kenneth Walker, you got Njigma, you got Cooper Kupp, and you got Rashid Shaheed. That's a pretty good skill group. And not saying the Pats don't have a good skill group, like like their running backs are solid with Henderson and Stevenson, and then we got your boy Stephon Diggs, Boudier, and then I forgot the other receiver name. But I think when you look at their skill players, I think Seattle has a better skill group. And even though I'm not confident in Sam Darnold, I think just like the overall team is better. But it won't surprise me, y'all, what I'm about to say. I think the Pats can win, but it's just that like I think like the Seahawks just got better skill players and they got a better team. So with that said, y'all, I think y'all kind of see what I'm leaning at. I'm leaning towards the Seahawks winning this game. Somewhere the score of like 20-17 or 24-17, something like that. Probably a last minute score. But I don't think this game is going to get out of hand. I don't think these defenses are going to let it get out of hand. I think it's just going to be one of those things where it's like you might go to sleep in this game. And you wake up and the score is going to be like that, and it's going to be a last minute touchdown or a last minute field goal. I think it's one of those games. And so, like, if you don't like my prediction, hey, don't like my prediction. This is my expertise, giving my expertise. So, like I said, I think the score is 20-17. I think it's not going to be a spread where both teams get over 50, where the total is going to be over 50. I don't see that happening whatsoever. What I do think is there might be a non-offensive touchdown, which can sway this game a lot. So, like I said, 2017 Seahawks. I'm not completely confident, but Seahawks win. Peace.